Hey y'all, welcome to our quick show. I just love meeting new people. It's nice. Maybe we can meet you. Here's our first guest. We're here with Lisa, a cooking school called Delicious, and we're going to make something today. So, what are we going to make today?
Today we're making a roast vegetable strudel.
Alright.
Roasted vegetables and mozzarella cheese, and then I'm going to decorate with different seeds.
That is nice. Okay, so what do we do first? What do you have to do?
Okay, nice and easy because you can basically buy all the ingredients. I'm going to be using a ready-made pesto, so you can just buy a jar of ready-made pesto. Just mozzarella cheese. You could be using a feta cheese here instead.
Okay.
And then I've just bought a puff pastry. Don't need to go and make your own puff pastry. You can just buy puff pastry. Now, the most important bit of information I can share with you is to always work with a piece of paper, baking paper. If you don't,
like a cookie sheet.
Like a cookie sheet.
Okay.
If you aren't working on paper, you can't lift your strudel at the end.
Oh,
so you're
that's
stuck
right.
with it sitting on the
It'll be stuck.
What I've also done, which is the only job that I had to do before I made the strudel, is I've roasted vegetables. So what I've got here, I've got roasted red peppers, I've got zucchini, and I've got eggplant. So those have been eggplant and mushroom. To roast the peppers and the vegetables, you just put them in a baking tray, a little bit of oil over it, and then salt and pepper and into the oven.
You can do it all together, all of them together?
Do it all in together. I haven't yet skinned my peppers. I'm going to just skin my peppers over here because the skin doesn't taste very good.
That stuff can get stuck in your teeth.
So what we're going to do is take our pastry. I just defrosted it in the refrigerator. And I'm going to put it onto the baking paper. So you've got a square of pastry, and now we need to make it into the strudel shape. We want to do a more stylish way of doing it.
That's right, we want to do it in style. Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm cutting off the corner over here. So I've cut off one corner from my rectangle, and I've cut off my other corner of my rectangle. And now I'm going to be cutting slits into it. Imagine like you're doing a tree. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
You cut all the way through.
All the way through to the bottom.
So you're going to put the pesto paste along the center, and then you're going to put roasted veggies, the zucchini, mushrooms, eggplants, sun-dried tomatoes, and the peppers, and then you're going to put your mozzarella cheese. Then you're going to use a brush and an egg along the side strips. You're going to close it all up. Fold the top flap over, and then fold the first strip over the center filling, and then the one on the other side, kind of like a braid. Close by folding the bottom flap up. You're going to create a contrast of color by brushing the egg on top of the pastry and sprinkling poppy seeds along the strips of one side and sesame seeds along the strips of the other side all the way to the bottom. You're going to grab the sides of the paper to lift it and move it to the baking pan. Place it in the oven for about 20 minutes on 180. Okay, well, we're back, and this is the finished product.
The finished product, it's, as you can see, it's puffed up beautifully. It's still kept its shape. You have your different colors with the contrast, but you can still see the lines underneath that. Just a word of advice when you do take it out the oven, before you move it onto the platter, allow it to cool down just a little bit, because what happens with a puff pastry when it's still warm is that it's very fragile. So once it's cooled down a bit, it firms up and it's much easier to move across. If you're finding that it's hard to get onto the platter, you can always take 2 egg lifters and lift from either side and then slide it on. Another very important piece of advice is before you actually make the strudel, make sure that you have a plate that's big enough to take it. Quite often people use all that pastry and they make a wonderful long strudel that big, and then they discover that it's hanging over either side.
So before you start, you need a plate that's the right size, and you need to start working on paper. So a few questions about your classes. How often do you have these classes?
Every month I do a different theme. I teach in the mornings and I teach in the evenings.
What is your favorite type of food? Your favorite kind, favorite type, favorite dish?
I love Thai food and I love cheese dishes.
What is the food that you hate the most?
I really hate really heavy meat dishes.
And my last question to you is, what is something you carry around with you at all times?
Carry around with me all the time would probably be a pen and pencil.
Okay.
Because you're always seeing ideas that are inspiring, whether it be for a table setting or for flowers, or even when you go into restaurants and you see the way they presented their cakes or their sandwiches, and you can always learn ideas, little garnishing tricks, little ways of setting a table.
Well, thank you. That was just inspiring, enlightening, and delicious.
You're most
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Bye, all.
Bye.